And welcome back. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You're watching Open. Hope you're having a great time. Our last guest is a director, artist, and producer, and he joins us to speak about his latest film. He's been working on it real hard, had the sleeves rolled up and the whole nine. Called Bottom B, and much more. So please welcome to the show, Joseph Grant. Here he is. Joseph, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Bob. Thank you for having me.
So you've been in this business of ours for a long time. Talk about
it. Yeah, I've been in the business officially, I'd probably say over 20 years in the film business, but I had a magazine about 30 years ago, Indigo, New York. So I've been in the business cursory for about over 30 years.
I remember that magazine.
Yeah.
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 So, but you're from Trinidad, right?
Originally, I was born in Trinidad. I came to America in 1972. I was 2, and I've been here ever since. We came to the Bedford-Stuyvesant area of Brooklyn.
That's why you still Trinity to the bone.
Yeah.
So good. How did you get into making films?
So as a kid, I've always been interested in art. As far back as I can recall, I've been doodling on things. And film part about it was like I used to play with a lot of action figures when I was a kid. I got 11 brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest. And my brothers used to always say, man, you play with them doll babies. But what I was actually doing was using my Superman and Batman and them and creating my own stories. And sometimes I didn't like the clothes they were wearing, so I would make my own uniforms for them. You know, my mother had a sewing machine, so I would sew and create their own outfits, so I stitch it up by hand. And I'd write these little stories and have them acted out. So it was constantly, so that was the prelude to me getting into film.
Yeah.
And then I saw Star Wars in 1977, and I was blown away. And I was just like, whatever that is, what I'm doing is nothing compared to what that is. And that's what
I was at a dude ranch when Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
That was the DJ. It was a big function up there and all that stuff. But yeah, I remember that. But
right.
So you was laying the groundwork for everything that you were getting ready to do.
Right.
But you didn't know you were laying that groundwork yet, right?
I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing what God gave me the gift to do, which was create. And I was just creating. And I didn't know what I was doing until much later on when I got to high school. Then I understood exactly what I was being prepared to get into.
Well, you have another brother out there living in Brooklyn with you that shares my last name. And he's been doing a lot of things. I was in one of his movies, Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
I was one of those riot cops.
So yeah.
Said, no, I didn't see you wear. I had the riot gear on.
Yeah, this is one of them dudes, a little dude, a small filmmaker, a little guy out there named, who shares your name. He's not that big.
Yeah, not that big. But who were some of your biggest influences?
Clearly George Lucas, Steven Spielberg. I really didn't know about Black filmmakers until I started going into high school, and I started getting a little bit more, and I learned about Oscar Micheaux, and I learned about Gordon Parks, and I watched Sweetback for the first time. I might have been about 14, so Melvin Van Peebles, and I started watching what they were doing, and obviously Spike, when he came out with Do the Right Thing, I was in high school, and I was like, man, Black people are doing this too. Like, Spike looked like us. So he was like, that dude was like wearing the clothes we wore and did the things we did. So it actually gave me more of a confidence to go out there and get at it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about this, the film that you jumped into. It's called Bottom B.
Right.
And what got you into it? What piqued your interest and what started it all out?
So, growing up in Bedford-Stuyvesant, there's two worlds. We always live in these two worlds, which is the world of that everybody goes through, which is what they consider to be the square world. Then there's the underworld. And I grew up looking at both sides of that. But what intrigued me the most about the underworld was that most of these guys and most of these women were regular people. They were just people with feelings just like everybody else, and they had a story to tell. And in this particular story, I wanted to follow the voice of a 15-year-old girl that was that could have been anything she wanted to be, but because of drugs, her parents forced her into this world of prostitution, and she became the bottom to a lot of different people, but she could have been very well the CEO of any Fortune 500 company because of the way her mind worked. So that's the basis of the story.
And did you complete it yet, or are you still working on it?
So the story takes place from 1968 and it goes all the way to 1984. So it follows her life during this 15-year span. And aside from that, it's all of the things that are taking place during that time. So these are real events that are happening with a fictitious character through the eyes of a fictitious character.
Yeah.
And it happens not above ground, but underground. So the story was written, it started off as a book, a short story that I wrote, and it did very well. And I decided, let me change it and put it into a movie. But then I said, you know what? It's too much to just have in a movie. So it's a mini series. Well, it's not a mini series. It's a series with about 6 different seasons and 8 episodes per season.
Yeah. Is it? What will people take away from it after watching your movie? What do you want them to learn?
I want them to learn that there's a conversation to be had about the people that we throw away. And the people we throw away are the ones that we act like we can turn our backs on and they don't exist, but they're still living. I want them to realize that every minute, whatever you see on that screen, that's happening to some young girl or some young boy. And if we don't like what we're seeing, then we have to change it in reality. And the only way to do that is to put it in your face and say, this is what's happening. There are young boys and girls in the group home that are suffering the same fate right now in 2023, going through the same problems as this young girl did in 1968.
Yeah. Are you working with anybody, collaborating with anybody?
Collaborating, not really. This is a project from Joe Grant to Joe Grant with love.
There you go.
You know, I'm open to collaborate with anyone, but at this moment, it's a project that I started on my own, and I would welcome anyone to jump in. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Ralph McDaniels is definitely working with me on this project. Yeah. He is an executive producer. You'll hear the voice of a particular person on this project as well. I won't say who, but you recognize as soon as you hear it. But yeah, so and a bunch of up and coming new actors that I'm working with, and I wanted to work with new actors because there's a great wealth of talent that's out there that we don't know about, and the only way they can be introduced is unless we, as the filmmakers, introduce them. So I wanted to work with new talent. Would you like to shout out any of the people working with you? I know you got Shaheem Wilson Lee. He's in there doing some stuff for you. That's what I said. There's a particular voice that's there. You guys will hear it. You will hear it immediately and know what that voice is. So yes, there's Kenny Williams. There is Ephraim Benton, called him Fetty. There's also there's so many people that off the top of my head. Dana come to you after we finish. It'll come to you. Oh, I should have hit. Dana Watkins is a talent that I use consistently. Anthony Walker, Aria Jones is a newcomer. There's so much beautiful talent in this project, and you guys are going to definitely. It's whatever the title is. It's definitely going to be different than what you think you're going to see. I have to do a hard rap right here, but what would you tell inspiring people who want to get into the business that you're into? People who want to get into the business, just do it. Just get into it. Write a script, shoot the script, and don't worry about what anybody says. It's going to be the best, worst movie you ever made, but it's going to be a foundation for you to learn and grow and grow and grow. And 10 years into it, you're going to be probably the best person you ever wanted to see. Yeah. I asked LL Cool J the same question. He looked at it and said, just do it. Yeah. And left it there. Yeah. And that means a whole lot, though. Just do all the things that you need to do to make it happen. But listen, you have a website and everything that we can go to get the information that we need? Yeah, my website is Joseph C. Grant Jr. joezeyes.com. That's my name. You can go to my Instagram, Joe's Eyes, JoeZeyez, or I'm on Facebook at, again, my name, Joseph C. Grant Jr. Just Google me and you'll find every information you need.
Joseph Grant, artist, director, producer, bottom big, bada bing, bada bing. Hey, Joseph, thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Barr.
All right.
All right.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. I want to thank our guests, you, for joining us, and our viewers for tuning in and checking it all out. You can keep following us on BronxNet TV for continued coverage. We want to thank you for letting me share in this space and time with you. Make sure you keep it right here. We have we have Darren Jaime, we have Kevin Aline, and Rena Valentin for new episodes of Open 2. Always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. To choose your choice, let your choice control the choose. And remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. So say you can. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. I'm the Doc Bob Lee. I'll see you over 107.5 WVLS. I love you all. Peace.